Hey everyone, Geri here with another lesson from my session. Before I start, do me a favor, subscribe to the Psychic Wives channel, but with the link below. And you'll not only get to see our lessons from our sessions, but you'll also get to see our podcast, The Psychic Wives. So today I just want to talk really quickly about dowsing. Dowsing is the word for using your pendulum, okay? I just want to give you a couple of quick tips on using your pendulum. I love to use my pendulums. I have them in various places in my house, so there's always one right there. Great way to get yes or no answers. So you can ask your pendulum, hey, is it in my greatest and highest good to eat this particular food? Is it in my greatest and highest good to take this particular supplement? I've used it for lost things in my house. Is it in this room? Is it in this room? Is it in this room? Yes or no questions are the way to go with the pendulum, and being very specific as well are the way to go with it. The Psychic Wives, Kathy, Ginger, and I also have a lot of fun using our pendulums. Sometimes if I'm a little too close to a subject, I'll reach out to them. They'll reach out to me. Hey, ask your pendulum, blah, 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 this kind of thing. So they are an excellent tool, serious tool, but then also fun tool. I will also use them in my readings if I need to get validations for a client or to make sure that I'm moving in the right direction. We'll do it myself for me. So I just want to talk to you, give you a couple of tips on this. So most people talk about when you go to pick out a pendulum, you want to go to a store or whatever and see the energy in the pendulum, see the activity in the pendulum. For example, some people say that you will hold your hand under the pendulum, and if the pendulum starts really moving, that's a good match for you. Obviously, you can see this one is like really moving here. Okay. Interesting, because Kathy has a great story about how she got one of her pendulums. So that is a really good way to do it. However, I have learned that professional dowsers, if you're doing this for a living and doing this full on with clients, prefer a copper like this one or wooden. I do have a wooden one, but hold on, let me mute my phone here, or my watch here. My apologies. I do have a wooden one, but the puppy chewed on it, so it's all nice and ugly. Here's the reason. This pendulum has a stone to it. I fell in love with this pendulum. I just love the way it looks. I love the activity that it gave me. But all the stones that we find in pendulums have an energetic property. Some may be for protection, some may be for power, some may be for strength, whatever. So they all have a energetic property that could influence an answer. Okay, copper and wood have no energetic properties to them. So that's why professional dowsers will use a pendulum like this. Okay, so just a quick tip there. Does not mean that you shouldn't use a pendulum like this. You can, but just keep in mind that it can be influenced by the property of the stone. If you do like to use a crystal, always best to get a clear quartz, like crystal clear quartz pendulum. Okay, so that was the first thing. The second thing I want to show you is programming your pendulum. A lot of people will say that you just hold your pendulum and you say, show me yes. And then you say stop. And then you say, show me no. And you can see that mine went this way for yes and this way for no. What I have learned is you are the one that needs to tell your pendulum what you want it to do. So in other words, I always hold my pendulum in my left hand, doesn't matter left or right hand. It's just I'm predominantly left-handed, so I always hold it in my left hand. Here's a better way to, I'm holding it up here because I usually hold it down here, but you're not going to be able to see that. Here's the best way to program a pendulum. So I'm going to start this swinging forward to back, and then I'm going to say, this represents a yes or positive confirmation. This represents yes or a positive response. This represents yes or a positive response. as I'm purposely swinging it forward and back. And I want to do that for, that's a puppy shadow you're seeing. I want to do that for at least 60 seconds. Okay. This represents a yes or positive. A yes or positive. Okay. So now when we do no, I'm going to start to swing it this way. And I'm going to say this represents a no or negative response. This represents a no or negative response. This represents a no or negative response. And I'm going to do that as well for 60 seconds. Then here's some that I didn't know until I learned this recently. If I swing it diagonally, okay, and for me, again, I'm left-handed, so I'm swinging from my right, bottom right to upper left. But if you're right-handed and you want to do it the other way, it doesn't matter. Diagonally. So you choose, you start to swing it diagonally, and this represents an uncertainty or a need for more information. This represents an uncertainty or need for more information. This represents uncertainty or need for more information. And again, you're going to do that for about 60 seconds. Then you can, and that's it, your pendulum is programmed. And now you can play with it a little bit. I can sit here and I can say, my name is Geri. And we see it's going forward and back. Stop. My name is Kathy Rumsey. And we see it's going left and right. Stop. So you can kind of test it, play with it a little bit there. So that's all I wanted to cover for you today. Just brief ways that you can use your pendulum. Again, yes or no answers to start. There are a billion dowsing charts out there, which will have charts in front of them, and you can get really descriptive about time frames and amounts of things, etc., by using the pendulum over a chart. Like I think I mentioned this at the beginning. If you've lost something, you can go into a room in your house. Is this object that I am currently looking for in this room? That kind of thing. So a lot of ways to use your pendulum. Best to program it yourself, and best to have copper or wood without properties, but also this is totally fine. Just know that this stone has a certain energetic property. And here's the other thing. In a pinch, I could take off my necklace and I could use this as a pendulum. Anything that's long and hanging. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said at the beginning, please subscribe to our channel so you'll see other lessons from our sessions from myself and Kathy and Ginger, plus the Psychic Wives podcast. Okay, thanks so much. Have a great day.